Hello viewers, there's a Dark Knight 97 presenting you Fire Emblem 6 Project Ember Maniac mode. Chapter 7, 0% growth. So this is infamously one of the hardest chapters in a vanilla version. So this is where difficulty peaks throughout the game in my opinion. Later in the maps are harder, but you do have the tools to deal with it. But in chapter 7 you don't particularly have a lot of tools or don't have a lot of ways to deal with the enemies around here, so this chapter is going to be probably the peak hardest chapter in my opinion in this game because you have a lack of resources. Luckily Project Ember does fix this for the most part, so this chapter is one of the relatively easier ones. It's still hard, you need to be careful, but it's a lot easier than a typical FP7, that's for sure. As you can see, I'm doing fairly well in even 0% growths. So, I'm gonna take care of Solo pretty easily with the archers and nomads. We have 3 archers, so loading these wyverns won't be particularly hard. So this map resembles Station 776 chapter 6, the escape map, except it start at the north and go towards the bottom. So that chapter is very difficult too. And speaking of music, this one's from Fire Emblem 7, the Blazing Blade. Yeah, the Blazing Blade. And the reason about boss is despite him having probably lackluster stats at this point, is he recruits a boss, so the boss can only be recruited in the Project Ember version of probably Maniac mode for the most part, but he's likely to be recruited in hard mode too. So, I haven't really played hard mode this far, so I can't say for sure, but that brigand is really dangerous. I recall in earlier versions he had a killer axe, but now he has a different weapon. He has the devil axe, so it still hits hard, but at least yours you can take one hit and not get double, likely live. Along with the fact that Devil Axe weighs a ton and we can double them with relatively slower units besides. Rodger for the most part. And they changed Zealot and tried to blue units into green units, so one of the reasons why this chapter is very hard is because these two are green units and there's a wyvern that charges towards those two and they have a fairly high chance of dying if you don't go out of your way to rescue them. Especially in hard mode, but here they buff to a fair amount. The point I think will be fine in this chapter. I'm going to Grand Slams just to be safe and game marks and elixir, so we might as well use it to our advantage. A couple of archers around here. They're going to essentially do zone control for preventing us to visit villages in the first few turns until we defeat them, but not pretty hard to deal with. Just beat them and kill them with someone else. Several changes made to chapter 7 in Project Ember, so the harder parts are more wyverns than the vanilla version. The reinforcements, which come early or late depending upon how you play. There are more enemies which encourage you to play more aggressively. And finally, some reinforcement, the reinforcement here thrown are changed to be turn-based, so If you play fast enough, you probably won't even face them. The turn they appear on is turn 14. So, beat a map in 14 turns, you don't have to face them. Or if you recruit Debbie as a tank, I'm not sure if that counts, but generally killing the boss does some reinforcements. Not really sure what happens if you recruit a boss, so. There's a brigand, he'll be out of range, luckily enough. We just have to level this onslaught of enemies, which shouldn't be particularly hard. So it's pulling a weight around here. And here comes the Wyvern, is going to trek. And he's pretty much close to an archer, so you can expect that Wyvern to be dead. And there's Noah. Noah's buff too, as for typical Project Ember style. So he has a lot more speed than he used to, a lot more strength. He's at level 12 and he has better weapon ranks. He's intended to beat a Jagan unit of some kind with higher weapon ranks, but here in this hack, in this 0% growth run, he'll probably be a paladin, is going to replace Marcus when he falls off. Not for a long time, but he's still going to contribute for most of the Western Isles. Pretty easily, if you ask me. It's kind of nice getting episode music in this map. It's kind of different, kind of refreshing. Yeah, we bought salt since we didn't have any other years, and we could definitely use more healers in this map. So, Iron Shot and Killer. So, Killer doesn't kill, but Steel Ball will probably one-shot him. Unless it has. I'm pretty sure Steel has the same as killer weapons, but Project Ember might have changed that. Maybe I don't really remember it, so. Yep, that Wyvern's a dead guy. Don't worry about the Wyvern, that should essentially cut on his own control. He would offer and the map. And Shard is ready to promote, so I don't need to bring her in chapter 8 at least. That's kinda nice in a way. I need all the high mo years who can take hits in that map, so. Yep. There you got knights going down. I'm just doing this to prevent counter attacks, but. And that's S rank access. You can use armor if you want to, but I probably wouldn't recommend using legendary weapons in this hack, at least not as much as I'd like in the vanilla version. Like, use them to make it easier, but you're not going to use it for a specific stat boost maybe, like, unless you're fighting ranged enemies. In which case armats will offer a fair amount of defense. If you want to go that route, that is. Here, Marcus, and yeah, gotta divert Archer with Shad. Luckily, his armor doesn't double, and the Javelin is a pretty weak weapon, so more or less less to the tail. And Brigade is pretty hard to deal with, especially since he has a Devil Axe. But you do need to be careful. You shouldn't let him attack you for sure. It's like a truck. And yeah, I'm just gonna take care of these enemies, load the wyverns, visit the villages, and eventually go like to Debias. So the reason Debias is a recruitable boss is the Project Ember development team is testing if it could recruit a boss, enemy boss it is, and see how it works. So it actually didn't, it kept it stuck as a meme, I guess. Anyway, Debias is a huge boon to our army. He has high weapon ranks and spears and axes, lances and axes, and generals do get a fair amount of weapon XP, so his other weapon ranks are fairly high too. Makes him a fairly flexible unit to use. Especially his high strength defense and the ability to use essentially any physical weapon you wish. The crit's nice, but don't have fuss about it if you don't crit either. So here, the knight is kind of bulky for boss to deal with. But Shana luckily has a wing spear, which is going to be of use here. We just need to rescue Shana away from the archer. And you can just let Zealot and Rudger visit villages. It's kind of weird that I'm using Rudger to visit villages, come to think of it, but I don't think it's going to see a lot of combat at a way. Not on this map at the very least. Which is kind of ironic considering that Rudger is essentially one of my better units combat wise. Alas, sometimes you got to change things. Yeah, I'm just moving Noah around. It's just checking and rescue someone, you know, to move them to a favorable position. But no, right. Planning to lure that wyvern or not, so. I'm going a lot faster than I usually do in this chapter because this map literally encourages me to play faster. Turn-based reinforcements, so especially near throne, so there's no reason to just rush to the boss and open a door near him. There's wyverns that I really want to lure one of them at the very least if I can. Like I'd have a rescue drops that place the under near them. Yep. Well, he's gonna stay there for a while, especially since he can use his strong weapons. And swords and axes. Until Mario's pick up in his weapon ranks, he'll be there for a decent while. That wyvern is a horse slayer, so wyvern rider. You don't want to place your horse units near him, which means placing a promoted low grounder is a bad idea. You can of course kill him at low if you really want to, but just using a bait is a bad idea. Come to think of it, they have fairly high stats all around the board. So I'm gonna take an iron axe and wait around there. That's just in case I need to try to conserve his killer axe. Because to be honest, Deke is pretty much finished his role for the most part. Except baiting some wyverns and all this juicy stuff. And finally get a hero crest, so that's without a doubt going to not good. And I guess I don't know how to heal Roy. Okay, and Shrek is going to load a guy, and the reason I'm not going to Killer Axe is because the Wyvern is a gem I want to steal. You need to be careful of where you place the Freeligates near a Wyvern at the top. I think only Zealot can safely lower them in 0% throats. Nowadays, he's only can definitely take threat and survive. I think I'll probably be using Zealot for the most part. Even if his combat isn't going to be particularly spectacular. Just because there's a 7 more unit who can, move around. Game does disincentivize using high units to chase the map with horse layers and effective weaponry essentially. So, as you can see, this enemies generally placed in positions which means you can generally, in most cases, unless it's mid to late game, they're placed in positions which aren't threatening, so at least at the beginning, or at least until most of the difficulty is gone. So I just dare to punish careless players, I guess. We definitely want his red gems. We're going to shopping spree at some point. It'll probably be a bit short funds, come to think of it, but honestly, all you probably need are iron swords and vintages, and maybe some killer axes if we can get them going to air out. And there you go, to 21 speed. He's going double for a very, very long time. We want to push Roy and Zealot, Boss towards the throne. Pushing Wall towards the fighter there. We just need to chip him a bit, honestly. Even if we don't, another reason I don't want to bring this wyverns below half health is these have physics and physics, yeah. They have physics, so the health goes below half. They're gonna heal it up for the most part. Not that you can't deal with it, but it's definitely it's something I'd rather not deal with, if I'm being honest. Yep. And it finally changed to the victory music of Fire Emblem 6. I guess it's pretty hard to change the victory music. So, a lot of critics in that part. Char is obviously going towards the treasury up the other side to get all this stuff in the treasury. Try to push boss as far as you can. Pretty simply, just rush the throne. Right, what the hell am I doing here? We gotta trade all this stuff to sell a lot because of treasure trade. That kinda helps. And Wall is just gonna buy some stuff, which in hindsight is a dumb. Nah, it's just gonna go to his orchard. Gonna need someone else to get all this stuff there. So there is turn-based reinforcements. They're beefed up slightly in stat-wise, so the Paladin truck highest speed stat, I guess a lot likely be doubled. Not that he can't live through it, but can be potentially annoying to deal with. Yeah, I'm just gonna buy some tomes. 2 thunder tomes in particular, just because I want some higher might, just in case you need some higher might. Don't want to use the caliber tome. A chest key would definitely wouldn't hurt. A torch, of course, is going to be useful in a thief. So there's just going to take this stuff on Shana. She's not going to do a lot of combat. And Shrek does a lot of stuff around, and that's a complicated rescue trade chain. Pretty simple actually. I mean, it's not used to do some impressive stuff, but we can buy something at the very least. Finally fixed it to Iron Blade thing that criticized, and I don't know, Project Ember LP I made roughly a year ago, I think, or a few months ago. It's definitely not a year, just probably a few months. Like around 5, 6, 7 months maybe. Can't reach with Sol and this turn, so yeah, the rescue drop in hindsight wasn't particularly needed, but I doesn't need to have it right now. Yeah, don't worry, I'll rush there considering the mounted unit. There you go, drop boss around there. Yeah, I'm just gonna deal with it. Fight in the next turn. Could have done it this turn if I wanted to, but I wasn't particularly bright at that moment. Yeah, as you can see, his paladins are pretty beefed with stats. Pretty much on par and Deke, if you ask me. And definitely on par with Zelot. Okay, there you go. You can just zero cure him with Lug, so delay him isn't hard. We are fairly dead. We'll probably finish it in turn 11 and 12. We're gonna rescue the Roy just to push him near the throne. Not that we need it, but yeah, you can just ship him. Yeah. I don't pretty want to drop him near the door so that we can use that here to open it door with a door key. Hunter has given this guy a heal staff. Not that it matters right now, honestly. But I guess it's something to do in a map. As you can see, there are no reinforcements, so you open the door right there. I think you can use Halberd to kill a paladin more reliably, but I didn't want to risk weighing Zealot down, so the killer axe are a bit more safer in a way. And there you go, get Debias. He has a melee quotes with the years of the next chapter, but for now, we're just gonna promote him. As you can see from his promo gains, which are gonna show in a short while, he has fairly good all-around stats, especially in strength, HP, and defense, which is one we need for the most part and at this point. So yeah, there you go, get the rapier. Kinda needed to upgrade all these menus, icons, and all that stuff. Yeah, I guess the killer axe does a fine job of dealing with not promoted cavaliers. And here, I don't particularly have to use any of his axes. I mean, I don't have any axe which I'd like to use without wasting it, so went for an iron blade and sadly missed. So an archer is pretty much going to kill him for the most part. As you can see, Debias is fairly high weapon ranks all around the board. So he's going to be flexible unit. He can use most of the weapon types which other units cannot use. On the downside, he has a fairly low luck stat, which means you can expect him to be crit frequently. But maybe not, depending upon enemy skill, especially since the skill formula has been changed. So nonetheless, it's something to keep in mind. Yeah. Yep, that should be it for this map. Like, subscribe, and share, and see you in the next video. And until then, goodbye.